Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Guys, today we actually have a Golden State Warrior video for you. I like the moves that they made in the offseason, and I want to just I just want to talk about them. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. Now, before I actually just talk about this video, something that when I was watching some stuff on the Warriors to make this, nobody really talks about Klay Thompson. And so, to my understanding, Klay Thompson won't be back at the direct start of the season. It's going to take him a couple of months, maybe 2 to 3 months into the season to return to the squad. Now, literally this whole season, if the Warriors are going to be a competitive squad, in my opinion, revolves around Klay Thompson. I think they did a great job at getting pieces. I think that they did just a phenomenal job of drafting, especially just the past 2 seasons. I think they're one of the most intriguing teams I've ever watched. They have this weird blend of this championship core that is one of the greatest of all time, and then you have just like a ton of intriguing prospects. I mean, you've got James Wiseman, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, Jordan Poole, JTA, like the list goes on and on and on, it feels like. They have all these young players with a lot of potential. So what the Warriors did this offseason is they essentially went out and tried to get a couple of veterans to help pair with these guys. Now, their veterans, I thought, were really good. They got Bjelica, they got Otto Porter Jr. Otto Porter Jr., a very good pickup. He shot 44% catch-and-shoot threes in his entire career. And then he shot 40% from 3 last season. Now, if you guys know, I live here in Chicago, right? So I'm a Bulls guy. I watch a lot of the Bulls. And I swear I've seen like a handful of games where Otto Porter has played basketball. Like, I promise you, I've seen like a handful of games. He was on the Bulls for a couple of years, and he was always hurt. It's the same thing with the regular roster. If Otto Porter Jr. can stay healthy, it's going to be really good. If the rest of the Golden State Warriors roster can stay healthy, they're going to be a good team. Now, as far as championship goes, I don't think that they're quite at the level of championship goes. However, they did just pick up Andre Iguodala. I know he's like 38 years old, but he can still knock down an open three, and his defensive presence is still elite. Still an elite defender. So he was a big pickup for him, but I think that they're lacking a couple of things. I think that a couple of things need to happen in order for them to make the championship or be a championship contender. Number one, I think they need a backup point guard. They were going for Patty Mills. Patty Mills just dropped 42 in the gold medal game for Australia. Patty Mills, though, to me, he was the answer. He was a perfect backup veteran point guard. Right now, I believe their guy would be Jordan Poole, who isn't that bad. He made a huge leap last season. I'm not saying Jordan Poole isn't good. I just think that if they're going for a championship, a guy like Patty Mills is a much better option than Jordan Poole, in my opinion. And so that they would need that to happen. I'm also I'm worried about Draymond Green. I don't think people talk about this either, so I would love to hear from a Warriors fan on your thoughts on Draymond Green. I mean, he's definitely losing a step. The hope is that with JTA that he becomes, like, his player analogy is kind of like a mini or like a Iguodala 2.0, like a Draymond 2.0, someone who does all of the little things that help you win games that maybe don't show up. Just like a going all in every single game, every second you're on the floor. That's kind of their hope with JTA, and that's what he looks like he's molding into. So with Draymond, I don't know if he has it all still. I would think that their window is closing, and I would think that he is the main reason. I think that they only have like 2 years left of this window. I think that their championship window with that big core is about 2 to 3 years, mainly because of Draymond. I think he's slowly but surely going to start losing a step there. I know he's never been a big statistical guy, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. You had injuries last year, you had COVID last year, but that's what I'm going to monitor. I'm going to look at Draymond Green this next season, because if he's playing how he can play, then they're in a really good spot. James Wiseman's extremely interesting because you have a lot of Warriors fans looking to trade for a star. You have a lot of Warriors fans wanting either a guy like Ben Simmons, who personally, you know, I think a Ben Simmons trade would be cool, but I don't think a Ben Simmons trade is good for the Golden State Warriors because of the fact that him and Dre, to me, it wouldn't work. It just would not work at all. Him and Dre at the 4 and 5, I don't think would work. Number two, you know, trading away James Wiseman to get a player like I've seen Miles Turner's name float around. I just don't see. I would rather see James Wiseman's potential for another season than trade him for a guy like Miles Turner, who, if we're being quite honest, isn't that valuable. Like Miles Turner, to me, I think the Pacers are overvalued. I think they've always overvalued Miles Turner. I know he's a really good defender and he's an elite defender, but I just feel like they've always kind of overvalued him. I feel like they'd want James Wiseman, like Moses Moody, and a future first for him. So, personally, I'm not like a lot of Warriors fans where they want to trade for another star to win another championship. I like what they have. I like the blend of young and old talent that they have, and I think that if you have you never know, man. James Wiseman, I think, is going to be a future 25 and 10 player. That's my opinion. I think he's going to be a future 25 and 10 player. If James Wiseman just gets a little better than he was last season, keep in mind this guy had like a few practices before the regular season started due to injuries, and he never really fit that roster last year. And I put a decent bit of that on Coach Steve Kerr. There were never really plays drawn for him. There wasn't anything ever really drawn for James Wiseman. He was just kind of there, chipping in when he can. And this next season, I think he's going to take a leap. He's getting older. He's getting more acclimated to the NBA, getting more adjusted to the speed. Played almost a full season, had a tough injury there at the end. But I think James Wiseman is going to take a leap. James Wiseman, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga. These are players that can actually help you win games right away. Now, like they saw with James Wiseman last year, you don't want to rely on a rookie to win games for a long period of time. So when I see guys like Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, and Moses Moody are more like inserted when they can help. And so I think the combination of all those young players and what they're going to provide this squad is going to make them a better than average team. I think they got really, really good draft picks in Jonathan Kuminga. I thought that was a great draft pick. And Moses Moody, almost an even better draft pick. I mean, Jonathan Kuminga just played a full season in the G League. He's played with adults like this. He's played with grown men. He's going to be adjusted much better to NBA speed than a guy like Moses Moody, for example. So I don't want to trade James Wiseman. They started calling a little bit more for him before his injury. He started setting more picks for Steph Curry. That's the whole freaking offense. So he started getting a little bit more acclimated to the Golden State Warriors offense at the end of the season, which I liked what I was seeing. I have a statistic right here. The Golden State Warriors last season were 37 and 26 with Steph Curry. So I understand a lot of this next season has to do with Klay Thompson. If Klay Thompson can come back at 90% of what he once was, even 80% of what he once was, then they'll be just fine. There is still a championship window, and that's why I keep trying to emphasize, if this team can stay healthy, you've got your core and you've got your young players. I just think they're all going to complement each other so much better because you have a healthy team. You have a healthy Steph Curry. You have a healthy Klay Thompson. You got a healthy Dre. You got a healthy James Wiseman. You've got a healthy Andrew Wiggins. All the health of that, it's going to make their chemistry better. It's going to just improve every single aspect. So, yeah, they might be missing a couple of pieces still. They might still be a little young at the guard spot. They might need another big man in case Kevon Looney goes down or James Wiseman goes down. They could use another big. But I think for the most part, the way they're set up is to be one of the most watchable teams in the NBA for the next 5 years at least. Next 3 years at the very least. Like, their young talent and their veteran core, big three, it's crazy. So we'll see if they make a trade. I think it might revolve Andrew Wiggins. I've seen a couple of trades revolving around Andrew Wiggins. Personally, I've never been too big on Wiggins just because I feel I feel like he's never really taken that step into stardom. And so, who knows? It could be this year. He is a really good defender. And after losing Kelly Oubre, another good defender, I think that holding on to Andrew Wiggins, I think it's in their best interest. But if they pair Andrew Wiggins and a first-round pick and they try and get somebody, the biggest thing is they need to complement the system. Like, you need to find guys who complement the system. I felt like, honestly, Kelly Oubre didn't really fit the squad that well. It took Andrew Wiggins a little bit of time to play, but I think he's coming into his own on the squad. I just think that their biggest issue with trading for somebody is fit. It takes a certain special player to fit with this core of 3 players. I mean, you've got the greatest backcourt duo of all time at 1 and 2. So, like, honestly, Andre Iguodala is perfect for this team, as crazy as it sounds, because he's 38 years old. Andre Iguodala is very perfect for this team, and he'll show you the impact he is going to make pretty quickly, in my opinion. So, anyways, guys, that is probably going to be it for today. I'm trying to think if I can remember anything else about the Golden State Warriors that I wanted to fit in, but they got good veteran three-point shooting, which was their biggest strength, or their biggest weakness. I felt like going into the offseason was that they needed more bench depth, and they kept Damian Lee. Hopefully Damian Lee, I believe they're at like 14 roster spots right now. I think they'll probably keep it open, just because you never know. Like every season, they'll be in the buyout market. They'll be talking at the trade deadline. If someone's going to get traded, I think it would be Andrew Wiggins. I don't think that they're ready to give up on James Wiseman quite yet. So that's it for today. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you guys enjoyed the video. But most importantly, go ahead, comment down below how the Golden State Warriors did this offseason. I thought they had a great draft, a great offseason, and I think that they're looking good. So anyways, that's it for today. Peace.